What is up, and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Braden. I'm here with my favorite Underdog fantasy pick'em plays for Friday, February 28th, 2025. Let's close out this month with a winning day. Had some good slips this week, some good flexes on the lottos, some straight up college hoops coming through, NHL coming through, even some NBA coming through. So it's been a good week. Let's keep it rolling into the weekend. I got 10 entries today, across today, and a couple for tomorrow as well in UFC. So if you're new to Underdog, sign up with the promo code DailyDog, DAILYDOG at UnderdogFantasy.com or in the Underdog Fantasy app. Again, that's DailyDog, one word, at UnderdogFantasy.com or in the Underdog Fantasy app for a 50% deposit match bonus worth up to $1,000. And also, if you're an existing member, Underdog has been on fire with the promos lately. 50% boost for NBA, 30% for tennis, 30% for NHL. I haven't included any of these boosts on my entries because I'm not sure, who's got what, and that's kind of, I don't want to make assumptions about what boosts you have available for this show, because you might have already used them. You might have different ones. There's all sorts of options here. So that being said, let's get right into it. NBA entry number one, Jalen Duren higher than 10.5 rebounds against the Nuggets. Nuggets back-to-back. Road game situation for the Nuggets. Duren has been dominating on the boards. I think 11 plus in 4 out of his last 5 games. He was a little bit, I think, banged up earlier in the year, so he was a little bit inconsistent as far as, being productive and getting boards, getting points and all that stuff and playing enough minutes. But lately he has been very consistent. So Jalen Duren higher than 10.5 boards here, even though he is going up against a rebound monster in Nikola Jokic. I think there'll be enough shots up in this game for him to get this number. RJ Barrett higher than 1.5 3-pointers made against the Bulls. Man, RJ Barrett's going to hit 2 3-pointers one of these days, and I'm going to be on it. I just have decided that I can't ignore it anymore. He shoots 6-7 3-pointers attempts per game. He's going to hit 2 one of these days, I promise you. So go RJ Barrett higher than 1.5 3-pointers made against the lowly Bulls. Him with Duren higher than 10.5 boards is 2.64x multiplier. NBA entry number 2, Anfernee Simons higher than 20.5 points against the Nets. A little bit of a revenge game for the Blazers. The Nets actually went to Portland a while back, maybe a month ago, and took them out on the road. So I think it's a revenge game. Anfernee Simons obviously can streak high in the points department. He can get 20.5 points quite easily. 21 plus is what we need here. So Anfernee Simons. And then we're going to go with Myles Turner as the Pacers travel down to Miami, higher than 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Turner looking healthy again, looking consistent. He's been scoring a ton lately. He's been hitting threes. So honestly, his rebound numbers haven't necessarily been impressive. I think that they're kind of due for positive regression to get back up around that double-digit mark. But even so, the way he's scoring into the high teens, this is a very, very gettable number. He gets assists as well for a big man. You might not expect it, but he's got them. So this is a 3x multiplier. Anfernee Simons higher than 20.5 points. Myles Turner higher than 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. NHL entry number 1, we're going with Igor Shesterkin higher than 2.5 goals against when the Maple Leafs come to town this evening. I think Shesterkin's having a terrible year. I think it should be a pretty high scoring game here in New York between these original 6 teams, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New York Rangers. As I said, I take Igor Shesterkin, the Rangers goalie, higher than 2.5 goals against. And then I'm going to take Nathan McKinnon in one of the late night games, higher than 0.5 assists, a very low multiplier because he is a point monster. Nathan McKinnon higher than 0.5 assists with higher than 2.5 goals against is 2.13x multiplier. Next up, we're going to go with Matt Duchene higher than 0.5 points for the Dallas. Hopefully there's more goals on the total projects here. I think that there is kind of low-key potential for this to be like a 4-3 game, even though the total is very low. Just sometimes when these teams, it's regular season. This isn't playoffs. It could be a playoff environment, but I don't think so. I think that we might see a couple more goals than expected. So Duchene get a point. He's the leading point man for this Stars team. Then we have Artemi Panarin higher than 0.5 points for the Rangers. You already heard me talk about how I think there's going to be more points available in that game than quite a few other ones, generally, I guess there'll be a lot of points in that game. There's only 3 games today in the NHL, so it can't say quite a few other games. But that's just a 2.13x multiplier. Again, it's about winning. It's not about having the biggest, sexiest number next to your entry. Got one college basketball entry today. Going back to the Max Shulga, we got hooked with him the other day. Higher than 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Shulga. Again, he's, double-digit, high-teen point scorer, generally speaking. Get a couple boards, couple assists, and we can get right there. So Max Shulga higher than 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And then Braden Smith of Purdue as they host UCLA, higher than 1.5 3-pointers made. Gettable number for Braden Smith. Good defense from UCLA, so he might have to pull up from deep. That's why I like the 3-pointers market here for Braden Smith. 2.52x multiplier with him and Max Shulga, higher than 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. One tennis entry for later this evening. McCartney Kessler, higher than 21.5 games played. Simply put, she is a grinder who goes 3 sets quite a bit. So it's just she always finds herself in these situations, either drop in the first or second set and go in third. I think she should get the win, but we'll see. As long as it goes 3, or as long as we get like a tie break and a routine set, we get over 21.5. Next one, late night Acapulco men, Denis Shapovalov, higher than 22.5 games played against Alejandro Davidovich-Fokina. Actually, Davidovich-Fokina has a good chance to win this match, and I think that the way Fokina plays, you're going deep quite often. You're going 3 sets quite often. So this is all about the opponent, not necessarily about Shapovalov, higher than 22.5 games played. 3x multiplier there. NFL Combine, I had one yesterday, but the lines moved completely, so I don't want to give that one out again because it's just, there's so much movement, it's not really worth it. The number for Scatabo, who I gave out yesterday, his numbers moved a ton, down, back up, down again, and then now it's off the board, I think, at a lot of places. And then also I gave out Ricky White. His numbers come down 0.2 seconds, which matters a lot in 40s. But today I'm going Dylan Gabriel, 40 time, faster than 4.81 seconds. He is running tomorrow on Saturday. I think Gabriel's going to be around 4.76. I think he's going to beat this one. I think he's not, a speed demon quarterback, but I've seen him in open field enough to know that he's probably going to be able to beat a 4.81, especially if he's been preparing for this accurately. Then Travion Henderson, 40 time faster than 4.4. I think he's going to be about a 4.37, 4.38, so he should beat this one. Obviously the narrow margins are going to be pretty narrow on a lot of these, but I think Henderson has that speed that a lot of people don't necessarily expect or don't necessarily understand he has. But I've seen that guy in the open field run away from everybody. So higher or faster than 4.4 for Travion Henderson, faster than 4.81 for the quarterback Dylan Gabriel. Saturday UFC. Chepe Mariscal, higher than 15.5 significant strikes landed against Ricardo Ramos. Ricardo Ramos' striking defense is terrible, and he's been a little bit gun shy when it comes to shooting takedowns lately because he's been submitted a bit lately. So Mariscal, higher than 15.5 significant strikes. Not a big power guy, but a guy who lands a ton of volume. And then Mario Pinto, fight time lower than 7.5 minutes against Austin Lane. Austin Lane is just waiting to get knocked out early. Mario Pinto, young prospect, good power. Lower than 7.5 minutes for that fight. That's 3x multiplier. UFC entry number 2. I'm going to go with Astu Almabayev in the main event, higher than 2.5 takedowns against Manal Cap. Cap, good takedown defense, but he fought a guy in Muhammad Mokaev who was able to get him down quite often and control him there a bit. This is a 5-round fight. I think Astu Almabayev is going to stick to the game plan. As long as he can avoid getting knocked out, he's going to get higher than 2.5 takedowns. I mean, he could get this thing done in 2.5 or in the first 2.5 rounds, if Cop is, not necessarily expecting him to be able to close the distance and gets caught off guard by some of these takedowns. Almabayev is just going to try to chain them together as well. So it could be takedown, get up, takedown, get up. Like we could get higher than 2.5 takedowns pretty quickly, depending on how Cop is strategizing to play against the ground game of Astu Almabayev. Then the first flyweight fight of the night, I'm going to go with Charles Johnson, higher than 67.5 significant strikes landed against Temirov. Ramazan Temirov is a good young prospect, only one UFC fight. Johnson is a vet. Johnson is down to bang. He's not necessarily somebody who's going to put everything behind his punches. He'll knock you out if you give him the opportunity, but he's just going to try to score like any true veteran is. So Charles Johnson, 167.5 significant strikes landed. That is a 3x multiplier. All right, let's close this out with lotto entry number 1 for today. Only one lotto entry today, to be honest. There are not enough hockey options for me, and a lot of NBA numbers were a little bit too tight for me to really just want to throw them in there for no reason. So I'm going to start with Cade Cunningham, higher than 2.5 3-pointers made. Cade scoring machine lately. Cade not afraid to throw up a 3-pointer, time to show off when a superstar like Nikola Jokic is in your house. So give me Cade Cunningham, higher than 2.5 3-pointers made. Then when Grady Dick, higher than 1.5 3-pointers made against the Bulls. I think him and Barrett are both going to have 2+ 3-pointers in this game. If you want to do a little SGP or something with that, feel free, but you can't put 2 guys on the same team on one entry on Underdog. But Grady Dick, higher than 1.5 3-pointers made. Bradley Beal, higher than 18.5 points. His scoring has been up quite a bit lately. Give me Brad Beal, higher than 18.5 points in this game against the Pelicans in this back-to-back scenario. Same teams playing each other in back-to-back nights. I think the Suns run away with this one against the Pels. And then Michael Granlund, higher than 0.5 assists for the Stars. This guy has been a point machine and assist machine since he's joined the Stars. He was an assist machine in the Four Nation faceoff. Granlund higher than 0.5 assists. If this goes 4 for 4, 13.666 multiplier, or if he flex it, it's 8.19x/2.43x if it goes 3 for 4. All right, that's all I got for you today. Good luck on your picks this weekend, and let's make some money.